Good afternoon. My name is Amy Harvey, and I'm from Florida Lactation Next. So profile, also known as timeline, is all about you. So this is where you can edit your own information. It's a visual of your activities and posts is the timeline. So if you were to scroll down through these screens, you've got the iPhone there on the left, the Android on the right. It looks almost identical, just with a few more buttons on the iPhone at the bottom. Timeline is just a visual of everything that you've done, all of your activity. If you maybe heard some terminology from when Facebook first started, you might have heard the word wall. This is the new wall. Okay, so that's kind of gone away and they replaced it with timeline. So I did want to point out, I've been kind of talking about how we can change privacy settings to show people that we decide how much information people can see. So from your timeline, there's a little kind of middle of the screen toolbar there. It should be underneath your name. And the rightmost button is 3 little dots. On iPhone it looks like this. On Android they're vertical dots, but it does the same thing. It's your More tab. And from More, you can go to Privacy Shortcuts. More is going to have a whole bunch of things listed. You can look for Privacy Shortcuts. And that's going to bring you here. So this is how you change your security settings. You can see there's drop-down menus there. You can search for a specific thing that you're looking to change. Or I actually recommend the very top thing is called a privacy checkup. That's going to take you step by step. They're just going to ask you one question and you answer that one question and then it's going to move on. So you'll be able to cover your bases with all of your privacy settings. So going back here, looking at that middle toolbar, the only other thing I wanted to point out here was there's a message button. So most things that you post on Facebook are going to be for everyone to see, or everyone according to your security settings. So maybe that's just people that you friended, maybe that's everyone in the public, maybe that's just close friends and family. There's a lot of adjustable settings within Facebook. It's for everyone to see. This message button is the only place that you can go if you want to just give a message to one person directly. You don't want anyone else to see it. This is where you would go. You would find that friend's profile and you would click on their little message button to message them. So that's called a direct message. And sometimes we shorten that because we shorten everything into acronyms as millennials. We shorten that to DMs. If you're on an iPhone, and I'm sorry, I'm not positive if this is the same on an Android, but on an iPhone, it is going to ask you to download another app for Messenger. Facebook kind of pushed off that Messenger thing onto a new app. So if you want to direct message on an iPhone, you're going to have to go into a new app. It's free as well, and pretty simple, and they move back and forth pretty easy between Messenger and Facebook. And the very last thing I wanted to show you specifically, sometimes we can get pretty deep into Facebook. There's a lot of screens you can keep clicking and kind of get lost. So if you're lost and you don't know where you are anymore, on both iPhone and Android, there's a little arrow up at the top left. That's your back button. So just keep hitting back until you figure out where you are. So how do we use Facebook as lactation consultants? Facebook is a great place to set up a page for your company or workplace to interact with moms. It's a great place to put out good information on breastfeeding, for moms to have a place to share ideas and tell you what they think or need. Also a good place to set up meeting time. So for example, maybe you want to make sure that moms know about a breastfeeding support group. If you're friends with them on Facebook, you can set up a meeting time, and that will go out and they can accept or deny it. It's pretty great. A couple of other ways. You can connect with mothers and colleagues or organizations. So I've mentioned Florida Lactation Consultant Association. FLCA has a Facebook page. So does USLCA. There's tons out there. These are just a couple of examples. You can do conference discussions. Gold Lactation Conference has discussion pages. And I also wanted to point out, very important, the next generation of lactation consultants. We are also millennials. So this is where we are. There are student lactation consultants groups, which are really great. If you're studying for your exam, Lactation Consultants Exam 2016 is a Facebook group, and there will be one for 2017, I'm sure of it. So searching for those is a good way to peer study. Study with people that are looking at the same content and asking the same questions you are. And just a note also on the student site, even if you're not a student, we do have some lactation consultants. Linda Smith is very big on the Facebook student site. It is so helpful to have IBCLCs that are already certified on these student sites so that we can get pointed in the right direction and not get lost in the weeds of something or not get off on a tangent that is irrelevant. We need guidance, and you have all the knowledge. So be where we are, which is on Facebook and social media. Bounce ideas off your colleagues. There's a lot of great lactation consultant groups. I put a couple up here. Lactation Consultants Forum is a closed group, so you can search for it, you'll find it, and you just have to click join. And that'll send a message to the administrator. They will add you to the group, and you'll be able to be a part of it. I wanted to point out LACNet. Is anyone on the LACNet listserv, the email listserv?
It's LACNet. LACNet.
LACNet.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you for the correction. See, this is why I need you.
I think it's spelled that way. I think it's spelled that way.
I thought there was a T.
No, it's in my email.
No, I mean.
No, it's always been that way.
Okay.
LACCA.
So there is a listserv email version of this that I'm sure
That's
is
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So LACNet with a T. There's an email listserv version of this where obviously you can go on and consult with your colleagues, ask a lot of great questions, and get feedback about what people are doing. They have a Facebook page as well. It is a secret page. So if you're not on it, you won't be able to search for it, you won't be able to find it. You gotta know someone who's already in. So is there anyone already in? Pat,
I want to be your
myself,
friend.
and Mary. Okay, so if you friend Pat, myself, or Mary, we could get you in. So it's not meant to replace the email listserv. It's more meant to augment it so that we can have a little bit more of a personal connection. You can see pictures of the people that you're talking to all the time. And it's a secret page, so it's not going to be shown to the public. If you post something on there, it's not going to show up on your timeline. No one's going to be able to see it but you. Okay, so that's a nice thing for privacy's sake. Obviously, a great place to hear ideas on breastfeeding, what moms are fearing, what they are sending around as the latest and greatest of how they think they're going to increase their milk supply. We can figure out before they tell us what the right answer or wrong answer is. La Leche League has a really great presence on social media. They are fantastic. The literally is everywhere. Breastfeeding USA is also big across social media platforms. So hashtags. You know, I said I was going to get into this. I'm going to dip my toe into it right now, and then we're going to get into it a little bit more with Twitter in the next little part. But these are some common hashtags that are used on Facebook. A hashtag is basically a topic bookmark. So when you put a hashtag on a post, anyone else that posted with that hashtag can be related. So if you search for hashtag breastfeeding, it's going to pull up every single post that anyone has posted within their security limit that has included hashtag breastfeeding. So we can get a much wider idea of things when we use hashtags. It's a good way to organize information. So some common ones that are used on Facebook, hashtag breastfeeding mom, hashtag breastfeeding mama. One that I think kind of newly become rejuvenated is hashtag selfie, so a breastfeeding selfie. That one I think just kind of had a resurgence. It was pretty popular about a year ago, and it just kind of had a resurgence after the UK announced that they are supporting breastfeeding selfies. Okay, so I know that was a lot, but this is going to be a little 5-minute breather. Let that sink in. This is your time to sign up for Facebook if you're ready to do that. We are ready for you to be on social media with us, and you can ask all the questions you want right now on Facebook, especially in the sign-up process. If you're already on Facebook, I would love for you to be involved. So post a comment or a picture to Facebook now. If you'd like a topic, I put one up here. You don't have to answer this. You can answer something else if you want, but what did you do during World Breastfeeding Week 2016? So I stuck in there a little hashtag that's being used right now. It's hashtag WBW 2016. So if you want to answer that question, add that hashtag in there.
That as a status?
You can do a status. That'd be fine. Mm-hmm. And also, I would love for you to add on there the hashtag FLCA meeting. So when we go onto Facebook and find that search bar in the newsfeed, we're going to be able to see what everyone's posting about.
Is it capitalized the way that you have?
It doesn't have to be capitalized. You can do whatever capitalization you want.
You put it in search?
Where do you put it? Okay. Let me. So if you're trying to do a Facebook posting, if you're at your newsfeed, so go back to your most basic screen, press back until you get to your most basic screen. Or if you're on an iPhone, it's a little easier. You can just go straight down to your newsfeed button in the bottom left. And there's a What's on Your Mind box up at the top there. It should be next to your profile picture if you put one of those in. What's on your mind? That's where I want you to type it. You can type whatever you want, just as long as you add hashtag FLCA meeting.
That's what I did. I checked it.
Oh, good. Checking in. Okay, great. Like it. Check in. So saying, this is where I am. So,
Okay, so I'll ask, how do you check in?
how do you check in?
Do you have an iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
It's up at the top, right?
The Android has it too at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I have a screen, but I can.
Yeah, for Android, it's at the bottom of your screen.
It's an iPhone, but it's all on top. Maybe you have an older or newer version.
It's right at the top, right?
Where there's a person and three lines.
It's on your newsfeed. Yeah, it's on the news. It's right under that. It's on the newsfeed.
Okay.
So you're not on the app, you're on,
I'm on the internet.
on the internet.
Okay.
Sorry, that's just throwing me off.
Oh,
a little
that's what it
bit.
is. Okay. That's the only way I do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't have it as an app.
Would you like to have it as an app?
I can make that happen too. Okay, I'll figure that out.
Okay.
So help each other. I can answer more questions. There you go.
What's on your mind? That'll work.
So different versions of the app might look a little different than this. I think I changed my pictures about 3 times while I was making this. So the apps do update, but the concepts are kind of the same. So look for the words and look for the symbols. Are there other people that have older app versions that would like some help trying to navigate? There was a question I just wanted to say. Vicki here had a question. She searched for Florida Lactation Consultant Association and found it, but it was showing top posts. So there's little categories at the top. When you search, there's little categories at the top. Select the category of page, and that's how you can actually go to the page itself. It's just whatever you want to say. And then the search line is if you want to see what other people have said. Everyone here hopefully will be.
I'm checking into Orlando Health though, for the tizzy and some of my friends. Thinking I'm in the.
They think you're in the
Yeah.
hospital.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, my.
So I'm going to quickly say, no, I'm at a meeting.
That's one of the things that some people aren't too thrilled about, social media.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, all I did was put the hashtag
Mhm.
FLCA meeting.
Mhm.
So then one of my really good friends says, is everything okay? So I'm having to say yes.
Yes, I'm just taking a
Because I was
Facebook class.
just in the ER Thursday with really bad headaches.
No.
Yeah, they gave
Oh.
me 6 different drugs. I had the
This
nurse
is all
write it
going
down.
out on our webinar.
Yeah. Oh.
Gotcha. Technology.
Just had a couple of other questions I wanted to throw out there. There was a question on whether you can filter a certain post to just show it to certain people. Your whole account can be filtered, but you're not going to be able to change per post. So if you were interested maybe in having a separate Facebook for personal stuff and separate for professional, that might be a way to kind of mitigate that. So maybe something to think about. But as we were just saying, it's your Facebook page, and you get to decide what you want to put on there. So if people don't want to read it, they're not going to read it. They're just going to scroll past it.
You should be on the Wi-Fi. Because we have Wi-Fi here. You should be on the Wi-Fi so you can see your data.
I have a question for you, because when I first got onto Facebook a couple of years ago, did this privacy setting so that I didn't get to my email, so-and-so did a notification, so-and-so, because I saw my kid, his email was covered with those type of things. Yeah. So, but all of a sudden I'm getting them from some people. So I wonder, I think that's I don't want any.
So I would choose this one. So you want to include security stuff is
Okay. Great. Thank you.
So there was a question about Facebook will send you a million emails telling you about every single thing that has happened on Facebook to your friends or yourself. If you don't want all those emails, you can change your settings. Facebook has a lot of settings. You can go, let's see, we looked at that through. If you go to your More button, if you're on an Android, it's going to be a little hash marks on your top left. There's a whole list of things. If you scroll through that, you're going to find account settings. If you're on an iPhone, you're probably looking for a little symbol of a gear. If you go into those account settings, you should be able to find a tab for notifications. And notifications is going to be the thing that you're going to get into. You can select emails, you can select kind of notifications show up on your phone. Any questions there? Okay. All right. So we are going to move on from Facebook. And our next social media platform is Twitter. So, what is Twitter? Twitter, I think they said this in our little video clip as well, Twitter is kind of more of a news network. A lot of you may have heard on TV news or newspapers, they'll say, this broke on Twitter last night, or just breaking on Twitter now. Our news travels quickly, and the quickest news on social media happens through Twitter. So it's real-time news and then real-time reactions to that news. And it's brief. It's like the headline news of social media. So Twitter takes interest that you give them, and it shows you the kind of content that they think you want to know based on those interests. Sorry, this is smaller than I was anticipating. So some Twitter talk here. I'm going to start in the top right-hand corner. There's a symbol with a little feather and a square around it. That is the symbol for tweet. So I'm going to show you it in the app, and it'll be a little bigger in a minute. But a tweet is a little message, and it is 140 characters or less for now. Twitter kind of went through a little phase recently when they thought they would expand this to unlimited characters, and people got up in arms. So I think they're sticking with 140 characters or less, so it's something very brief that does not lend itself to good grammar. And a tweet is just anything that you want to put out there. It doesn't have to be important, but the way for Twitter to be relevant is through hashtags. So if you look second one down on the left-hand column there, that's the pound sign. So Twitter started the hashtag thing, so you can thank them for that if you don't like hashtags. It is a symbol, the pound sign is a symbol to mark keywords or topics in a tweet. Sometimes we use hashtags because we want it to be related to a subject. So for example, hashtag breastfeeding, because we posted something about breastfeeding and we want someone that's looking for that topic to find what we posted. Sometimes we use hashtags kind of as punctuation, emphasis on something that we feel strongly about, and we don't really care if it relates to anything. It's just kind of a fun way to punctuate something. So tweets with the same hashtag are going to be bundled together, so that allows for easy, specific, subject-specific browsing. And on a tweet, it's going to be hyperlinked. So if you see someone's tweet and you like a hashtag that they posted, you can click on that hashtag and it's a hyperlink, so it's going to pull up all the other tweets that people have used, have posted using that hashtag. Next one down after hashtag is the @ symbol. The @ symbol designates a username. So a single person is a user of Twitter, or it can be a company is a user of Twitter. And the way that we say who they are is an @ symbol, and then after that, everything without spaces, same as hashtag, everything without spaces after it is the username. So I'm @ Diana Dodge, for example. Or a lot of IBCLCs like to put @ Diana IBCLC. So your username doesn't have to be your name. It can include part of your name if you want it to. It doesn't have to. It can be anything you want. And usernames are also hyperlinked in tweets. So let's kind of use the election cycle as an example here. A lot of times the candidates like to call out the other candidate in their tweets. So they'll say, @ Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. And so that will bring it to the attention of the person that was named. And it also allows you to, it's kind of similar to a hashtag. You can click on that person and go to everything that they have said. And the only other symbol I really wanted to point out here is top right corner, right below the tweet. It's a little retweet symbol. So it's a square of arrows. And a retweet is you see someone that tweeted something that you like, you can press that retweet symbol, and that's going to replicate that tweet on your Twitter. So retweeting is just going to show it to your audience, and that's kind of how we get things trending when something's retweeted a lot. it's shared with more and more people and becomes more popular. So a lot of times that's used to share news or valuable findings. So if you forget everything else, remember these two, hashtag and username. They're both going to be without spaces. You don't use spaces in hashtags or usernames. Hashtag is that bookmarker that will relate you to everything. It's a pound symbol. Username is going to be the @ symbol. Everything after it is who you are. So, starting on Twitter, I am going to walk through a couple of things about signing up for Twitter that might not be quite as intuitive. To start, it's going to ask you screen by screen these questions. It's going to ask you for your name, your phone number, your email. Then it's going to ask you about interests, and that's where we are here. So interests, you can either search for your interests with this little search bar. It doesn't look like much on the screen, unfortunately, but it has a little magnifying glass and it says add your interest. So you can, for example, type in breastfeeding, and it'll add breastfeeding as one of your interests. The other way that you can tell Twitter what your interests are is you can browse. So they have all these little buttons down here, these bubbles with words and plus signs. So when you click on that bubble, it's going to highlight it. So for example, maybe you highlight the news bubble, so you can hear about all news if you select that button, that bubble. Or it will expand it down and give you some more specific topics within news. So you can select more specific ones if you don't want all news. So the next thing that it's going to show you is something like this. Twitter's going to take all those interests that you just gave it and it's going to generate a list of users that they think you might like based on those interests. So you're going to see a whole list. It's going to show topics, breastfeeding, and then maybe some users that have popular accounts that relate to breastfeeding. And they have little circles, green circles with check marks next to them. So that is what you're going to highlight if you do want to follow that person, if you like what they're about. You can put a check mark by them. If you don't, you can uncheck that. I think they all start out checked if I remember correctly. And you scroll down, it's going to give you more things that they generated for you. So once you have a check mark next to that user, that means that you're going to be following them. So following means you like this person, you want to see what they have to say, and you're going to see that Twitter stuff whenever they keep something, you're going to see it in your news feed every day. If you find out that you don't actually like that person after you've already selected them, you can unfollow. It's okay. Okay, so I kind of skipped over a couple of other parts of the sign-up process, but they're a little bit more intuitive. It'll ask you a few security setting type things so you can choose who sees your tweets. So this is the basic Twitter screen. And yay, it's the same on both iPhone and Android if you have the most updated apps. So it's going to have a navigation bar down at the bottom, just like Facebook did. The first one I wanted to point out is the bottom left, the little house, which obviously is your home. So this is your news feed, and it's going to show you tweets from people that you followed. It's going to show the most current ones up at the top. So something that happened seconds ago, it'll tell you it happened seconds ago, minutes, hours. And if you signed into Twitter one day, checked it out, signed out, came back the next day, Twitter's going to give you an update. They'll say while you were away, and you can scroll down and see some things you missed, some of the most popular things. They kind of pull together the things that was most popular while you were gone and give it to you on the bottom part. Next thing I wanted to point out on the toolbar is the little lightning bolt, that's the Moments tab. And this Moments tab is where you can see tweets about the latest news. So this is how you use Twitter as a news network. So there are topics up along the top of your screen, and you can scroll left or right through those topics. And then once you choose a topic, like let's, for example, you wanted to see about today, what's in the news popular today, you can scroll down and it'll show you all sorts of news stories that have been posted today. And it'll, if you click on that news story, it's going to show you people's reactions to what they thought. Okay, so I wanted to show you up at the top of your screen is that little feather with a square symbol. That is your tweet symbol. So this is where you would click to write your own tweet. So remember, tweets are 140 characters or less, so you have to be brief. Don't have to think too terribly hard about it. But do remember that these are things for the public to see. Twitter is public by nature, so you have to be very intentional if you want it to be private. If you did want it to be private, you just want to tweet to one single person and you don't want anyone else to see it, you'd have to go to the little envelope symbol. So envelope symbol is the next button on your navigation bar at the bottom, and that will bring you to a screen where you can see messages that you've already wrote, and you can write messages from there. So these are private messages. So Twitter for the lactation consultant. It's a great way to see what moms are saying about breastfeeding. Really easy using those hashtags to just get a quick snippet of what's out there. Some common ones, hashtag breastfeeding, hashtag pumping mamas, hashtag nursing mamas, hashtag IBCLC, hashtag donor milk is used a lot these days for that milk sharing. And hashtag normalize BFing. BFing is how we shorten breastfeeding. Yeah, exactly. 140 characters. We gotta make things short. Breastfeeding too long. It's also a great way to keep up with the latest info from organizations. So the WHO is very active on Twitter. ILCA 1985 is the username for ILCA, obviously. They are very active on Twitter as well. FLCA, Breastfeeding USA is EF_USA. At IBLCE, and Breastfeeding Medicine is EF Medicine. So there are lots more than this. This is just a handful. If you have other ones that you'd like to share with the group, I would love to hear about those. You can also connect with other LCs on Twitter. So our lovely speaker from our last presentation was Nancy Morbacher. She's at EF Reporter, is her Twitter, at kellymon.com, at Coach Linda Smith. Linda Smith is very popular and active on social media. If you went to the Northeast Florida Breastfeeding Coalition presentation that Amber McCann did on social media, she, great, we have one back there, I remember. She did a fantastic presentation on social media, and she's a great resource for asking questions as well. She's at I am Amber McCann. And obviously you can also use Twitter to help shape the conversation with your own tweets and retweets. Tell people what's important to you and what you find that is important to all of us in the breastfeeding world. So here's that try it time. So you can sign up if you haven't already. If you need help with that, please let us know. If there's questions, I would love to take those. If you're already on Twitter, maybe you want to post a comment or a picture to Twitter. You can answer this question if you'd like. What is your favorite breastfeeding fact or tip? And please remember to use that hashtag FLCA.
You can talk.
Well, it all goes out over the internet. It's all going out over our webinar if we get too chatty.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. You can talk quietly.
So that was not the right search.
So there's a question about how do you get these apps if you haven't gotten an app ever or if you haven't gotten it in a while. If you're on an iPhone, it's called your App Store. It should be already on your phone. It's a little blue symbol and it kind of looks like it has a triangle, maybe picnic table kind of looking thing. That is your App Store. You just need to use the search feature, which is the toolbar along the bottom with the magnifying glass. You just search Facebook or Twitter or whatever app you want to download. They're free. Our lovely Pat Lindsay is going to be posting this whole presentation online for us. So if you're not getting good signal right now and you want to try this again later, you can go back to your presentation and hear me all over again.
Now, how did you find her?
She's on Twitter.
So, are you friends with her?
Yes.
Were you friends before just now?
Yeah.
Seems like kids and teenagers.
Are we friends? Can we be friends? I want to be your friend. I know we're friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
But how do I want to be your friend down here?
I just requested you.
Yay!
I deleted Twitter.
You did?
Yes,
Because
I don't like
you
it.
had more to say than 140 characters.
No, I never tweeted. I've never tweeted.
Okay.
But I
I
had
just
it on
tweeted
there.
breastfeeding is normal.
And then I
That's
would,
what I said.
There you go.
I did drink plenty of water. I couldn't come up with anything. Drink plenty of water.
Jen posting. about
She is right now?
currently About
Okay.
yeah, she's on there.
Okay. So do I search for you? Under, are you Amy?
Amy Harvick. Am I? Oh, wait. Am I something else?
Because I noticed
I
I'm
think
like,
I'm at Nurse Amy. At Nurse Amy.
oh wait, I searched with your little @ symbol.
So if you're searching for a user, a person, you're going to use the @ symbol. That's how you designate a username. So @ symbol and everything after it without spaces is a username. So if you know someone's username specifically, that's what you're going to use to search.
I don't think this is you, but it could be you. Working at the clinic, working on Band-Aids and martinis.
Yeah, that's not me. Please, no.
Not that one. That's Nurse Amy.
I'm Nurse Amy. I'm UCLC.
There you go. I'm glad you clarified. I found you.
So there was a question, if you see something that you like someone that you kind of found browsing through things, how do you follow them? You are going to click on their username and it'll give you a chance. It might be different depending on your version of the app. It's either going to be like a little check mark kind of symbol to follow, or it might say follow the actual word. But you want to follow that person if you want to keep seeing their content.
I've been retweeted.
And I'm looking at
Jen
my phone
retweeted
now
me.
and I'm seeing lots of great tweets going out. Thank you, our lovely president, for tweeting out. Awesome job. And we have Jen also, our president Jen is at JENNIBCLC. Sorry, Jen, you're about to get a lot of followers. She put a great tweet out with some good hashtags that she liked. So hashtag milk drunk baby, I'm sure will give you lots of cute pictures. She also tagged us, hashtag book a meeting, hashtag nursing, and hashtag breastfeeding.
Oh, so then you can click on the hashtag FLCA meeting, and then there's people who wrote like, "Hi from Northeast Florida Breastfeeding Coalition." Is that what we're seeing here?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So those
Oh, so they
hashtags
wrote
are
in.
hyperlinks.
So those girls are up there in Jacksonville or the
Yeah,
area.
exactly. My friend
I'm getting
Laura
it.
up there also texted me to make sure we saw it. She tweeted out, or I guess the North Florida Coalition tweeted out a great picture of them looking and listening in. So if you type in the hashtag Flicka meeting, or if you see another post that already had hashtag Flicka meeting, it's a hyperlink, so you can click on that and see everyone that's been posting.
Well, people out there are watching.
There are, yeah.
Yeah, the Jacksonville usually has a nice group.
Involves so many people from far away. All right, so let's move on. Next platform we're going to talk about is Pinterest. If you were here for the educational meeting 2 meetings ago, I kind of started a Pinterest for FLCA, so I showed a little bit of this information a couple of meetings ago. So maybe this is round 2 for a couple of you, so you should definitely be getting on Pinterest this time. So Pinterest is a visual bookmarking tool. You have to have a picture in order to use that website with Pinterest. So basically what it is a place to save all of your favorite websites. It's kind of like a bookmark, and you can organize those websites into categories, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But the most important thing to remember is that it has to have a picture. So unfortunately, I find this a little bit difficult with some lactation stuff. There's a lot of great studies, but they don't have pictures. So Pinterest will get a little confused with that. So if you find a good study that happens to have a picture on the web page somewhere, that is gold. And send that my way so we can add it to our Pinterest for good one for lactation. So Pinterest is pretty easy to sign up for, so I'm not going to go through that process. All you're going to need to give them is your name, email address, and a password. So I'm going to talk about some vocabulary here. A pin for Pinterest is a picture that links to a site that you like. So I've got a red circle here around one of the pins on a larger board of pins. So the pin is the one single picture, and it has a little description below it, and then below that description is who posted it. So pins can be opened. You can click on that pin and you can see it bigger, and if you click on the picture again after you've opened it, it'll take you directly to the website that it came from. So maybe it's just a picture and not a whole lot of information on the picture itself. You can use that picture to bookmark and go back to the website that you got it from to get the full information. You can also comment on pins. So if you open up a pin, it'll give you a little comment box below it. You can also like pins, and you can repin things. So if you find a pin that you like, you can repin it to your board so you don't lose it. Another vocabulary word is a pinner. So a pinner is someone who pins. So hopefully after this, you will all be pinners. So Florida Lactation Consultant Association, like I mentioned, has a Pinterest. We have, I think, let's count about 69 followers actually. And hopefully we'll have a whole lot more followers after this presentation. FLCA can have followers, meaning people that like FLCA's content are going to follow, and then we also follow other people. So we follow, for example, ILCA. So whenever ILCA pins something, I get to take a look at it and say, hey, love that, stealing it, pinning it to ours. A board is how we can organize pins. So many pins make up one board. You can have as many boards as you want. A board can either be secret or public. The default is that it's going to be public. And if you want to make it secret when you first create it, it's going to ask you, a description of the board, and you'll be able to select either public or private. And if you do nothing, then it's going to make it public. Once the board is public, it's public forever. You can't go back and make it secret again later. You can make a secret board public, though. So you can only go one way. Once it's out there, it's out there. And this is just a screenshot showing some of our FLCA boards. So we have one that I just made kind of recently for breastfeeding research. that I would love to have more pins for, so send me your pins. And others who are finding help and support, Breastfeeding Basics, Mythbusters, 10 different boards. So if you find good websites that have good evidence-based information and minimal to no ads, we would love to send those to FLCA and Pinterest. So send them my way. And so as I mentioned, you just need an email address. You'll find that a lot of social media kind of crosses over. Facebook is almost the most basic. So a lot of social media platforms allow you to use Facebook to sign up for other social media platforms. So you don't always have to put in all of your information over and over again. So if you started with Facebook and you want to start a Pinterest account, you can click the button to use Facebook to sign up. And it will take your email address and all that from Facebook. So otherwise, you will need to give them your name, email address, gender, and make a password. And then it's just going to bring you to a screen to select some interests, what you like, because Pinterest is going to give you ideas for things they think you might want to pin. So you need to select some interests, and then you're ready to go. So this is what a Pinterest app looks like. Again, they have that little navigation bar down at the bottom. So on this one, the bottom left, again, is kind of the home button. It's the P, the red P circle, is the Pinterest button, and that gives you a home screen. And this is where Pinterest is trying to use your interest to show you what you might like. Next symbol over is the magnifying glass where you can search for topics. Let's say you want to see pins about breastfeeding. It'll show you a whole selection of pins about breastfeeding. You can also search for pinners. So people that you know are on Pinterest, you can search for them. That I did want to point out specifically because you have options of either searching for pinners or pins. So if you put FLCA in there and you're not seeing the FLCA Pinterest, you might have just searched for pins, and so it didn't show up, it filtered it out. So you might need to select that filter. There's a little talk bubble next down at the bottom there, and that is where you go to see when someone follows or likes your pins or sends you messages. That's kind of a little notification center where you can communicate with other people on Facebook. And the little person symbol is where you see your boards and your saved pins. So Pinterest for the Lactation Consultant, this is a fantastic way for us to get out all the good information in one spot. We take the Googling mistakes out of the mix when we give moms one URL to go to find all the information. So obviously, I'm trying hard to build FLCA's Pinterest to be that awesome place to go. FLCA also has another great Pinterest, a good place to save good tips and ideas that you like. The Lecture League, again, fantastic on social media to include Pinterest. They have a lot of great breastfeeding art. It's kind of my favorite thing of the Lecture League's Pinterest. You can also keep up to date on latest research and organize links to your favorites. ILCA has a Pinterest, and they put out their research through Pinterest, as does the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine. So this is our time to try it. So sign up for Pinterest if you haven't already. It's super quick. It'll probably take you about 2 minutes at the most. And if you're already on Pinterest, I would love for you to try and find the FLCA Pinterest and follow us. So following, again, it means that when you open up your Pinterest, It's going to show you as part of those suggested pins, it's going to show you stuff from ClickUp. And if you find that click of interest, I would love for you to comment on or repin something that you like off of the ClickUp's Pinterest. And if you're going to comment, use that hashtag ClickUpMeeting.
Diana, you guys put in FLCA before for looking over the Florida lactation. You use capital S on Pinterest.
Yeah.
You'll have to spell out the name, the words.
So the question was, what do you need to search to find Flicka's Pinterest? You can put in FLCA. You can also put in Florida Lactation Consultant Association. Either of those, as long as you're searching under pinners, should bring it up. Another way that you can find the FLCA Pinterest is the name for FLCA is FL Lactation, so that might be another way. But do make sure that when you're in that search bar, if you give it a second to think once you type in FLCA before you press enter, it'll bring up a list of suggestions from that search that you just entered there. Make sure that you're looking under the people section, pinners.
It did that.
Yeah. It's looking quick.
So I have a question. Well, I looked for some, I got to pick first this, that one, and then it gives you all these. So you, the one that you guys did was the one that you talked about. Well, like this is the Checkup board. Oh no, I guess I had stepped on it. This is the one. No, this is one, this is their one board, the things inside of there. Okay. And so then if you just push one thing. Okay. 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 Like I'm not really concerned, I'm not very, familiar with it. I had it, I didn't count it.
So let's say you'd like to.
Now what, like I want to time it, so I would.
Amy,
comment here if I wanted to
you're a
comment
Pinterest
here.
person. Yeah, you Pinterest, you pinned a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I have. Yeah, you have. Yeah. Nice.
Thank you, Jane.
It's a lot, there's a lot of things here.
I know.
It's like, oh. Yeah. I was trying to figure out, so I work with the NICU, so I was trying to figure out when the pumping and scoring and all that. But I think there's breastfeeding laws, and there's no rights to people getting that.
Okay, I'm seeing lots of good activity here on Pinterest. That's great. People are liking some pins. Okay, so we are going to move on to our last social media platform that we're going to look at today, and that is Instagram. So Instagram and Snapchat are kind of similar concepts. I'm not going to show you anything about Snapchat today, but it is a little bit more popular with the younger, especially end of the millennial generation, so people in their early 20s are very popular with Snapchat. Snapchat is another place like Instagram. You can post pictures or videos, but the difference with Snapchat is that those pictures or videos only go to a certain recipient, and then that recipient has a certain amount of time to look at it, and then once they view it, it goes away, and it goes away forever. So millennials kind of figured out that we started posting things and they were staying on the internet forever. We didn't like that, so Snapchat made a social media platform that allows people to share pictures and videos, and they have kind of a ticking time on them, so they disappear. Instagram, on the other hand, allows you to share pictures and videos and write captions on those, but it keeps those pictures and videos so people can go back and look at them later. So it's a way to share moments, ideas, and information. It doesn't just have to be an actual photograph, it can be a graphic as well. Similar to Pinterest, Pinterest can be graphics. It allows you to connect to multiple other social media platforms if the user selects to do so. So if you post something on Instagram and you want to hook up your account to Facebook, everything that you posted on Instagram will also mirror over to your Facebook. So you can combine those social media platforms. Instagram can also be public or private, but that's pretty much the only kind of security designation that Instagram has. It's either everyone can see it or just your friends can see it. Signing up for Instagram can be easy. You need an email address, and then they're going to ask you to create a username and password. Or, just like with Pinterest, you can sign in with Facebook, and it'll do all that work for you. And then it's going to ask you to fill out a profile. Profiles for social media don't have to be super in-depth. You can give as little or as much information as you want. It can be not even a full sentence, or maybe just a quick list of things that describe you. So once you get signed up for Instagram, this might be what your screen looks like. So a few buttons we're going to discuss here. Same little toolbar thing along the bottom, similar to other social media platforms, that, again, the bottom left corner is your home button. So this is what you're going to click, and it's going to show you all of your friends' photos and videos that they posted. Next button over is the search. It's that magnifying glass again, so you can search for topics. Let's say you want to see all the stuff that people have posted about breastfeeding. The next button over is how you can take pictures. You can take that selfie and post that to Instagram. That is how you do posts. So you would take a picture, or you can upload a picture from that button. And next one over is the heart. And if you go to that section, it's going to list activity from people you're following, or your recent activity. So basically the difference between that and your home button is that it just shows it in a word list form. So you can kind of scroll through and find stuff that you haven't seen yet or you missed when you were scrolling through. And the last button there is the little person, and obviously that is your profile, and that is where you can see what you have posted. So I did want to take a quick look at that profile. So I have clicked on the little person, and I wanted to show you that there is a settings icon in the top right corner. On the iPhone, it is a gear. I believe on Android, it's 3 little dots, which is pretty typical if you keep those in mind for your device. iPhones usually use gear for settings, and Android usually uses dots. So if you want to click on that settings icon, it's going to give you a whole list of options that you can look at here. So you can scroll down, and one thing that I wanted to point out is that Instagram has a fantastic help center built into their app. So if you click on that help center, it'll allow you to ask questions in a little bar there, or you can browse question topics that other people have seen. So that's a great place if you're lost after this to find a little more in-depth, step-by-step, directly from Instagram. This is also kind of the area where you can find other things, like changing how your Instagram is public or private. So Instagram for the LC. Instagram is maybe a little bit less helpful, I think, for lactation consultants, but it's very popular with moms, so I think it's important for us to have an understanding of it and the things that they use it for. I do think if you're looking to get into the normalized breastfeeding movement, this is the place. It's fantastic for that. The Leche League also has this thing called Breastfeeding Badges, which is really cool. So they have, if you go to the Leche League Instagram, they have a whole bunch of these graphics, and I just put one up here. This one says, I breastfed my baby through low milk supply. So you can send these pictures, these little badges, to moms so that they can have it on their Instagram and be proud of a goal that they met, which I think is really neat. So again, Instagram can be graphics or pictures. So you might have, if you're super good with designing things, you might make a graphic, or maybe you find a graphic that someone else likes and you can use that yourself. I did just want to list off some of the users on the left-hand side and some hashtags that are popular on Instagram. Best for Babes gives a lot of good breastfeeding information, good breastfeeding graphics. The Leche League, again, fantastic for social media. BF Mama Talk, I Am the Pacifier, Breastfeeding World, Badass Breastfeeder, and Breastfeeding and Pumping are other good ones that you might want to check out. And some hashtags there. Hashtag the Leche League is one that gets tagged a lot. Hashtag breastfeeding. You can see these are similar to others. Hashtag lactation, hashtag Brophy, nursing in public, and normalized breastfeeding, breast is best. I'd love to hear ideas of other hashtags that maybe you found. So this is our try it time. If you'd like to sign up for Instagram. You can post a picture or a video clip on Instagram if you want. And I would love for people to answer how many years have you been helping moms and babies? So maybe you want to take a quick selfie holding up some fingers. Maybe you want to do a little doodle on a paper and take a picture of that. And if you want to add a caption to that, you can put hashtag FLCA meeting on that. As you're doing this, you might see Instagram has other cool features. You can kind of add different filters to your pictures to make them look cool. Okay, so we're getting to the end here. Hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at that. Now to some of the fun stuff. Applying the code of professional conduct. So I think that social media relates best to the first 4 principles of the code of conduct, so I just wanted to talk through these first 4. First principle being provide services that protect, promote, and support breastfeeding. So it's important for us to supply accurate and sufficient information to enable clients to make informed decisions. This is where the moms are. This is where they are searching for information. So this is where we have a duty to bring them the good information. The second principle is act with due diligence. So one of those points being to collaborate with other members of the healthcare team to provide unified and comprehensive care. Other healthcare providers, the federal government, everyone is getting onto social media. So it is important for us to be giving that unified message and watch each other's backs. Make sure that the right information is getting out in all of these platforms. Other part of that, I think is very important, is to be responsible and accountable for personal conduct and practice. If you are on Facebook and maybe are in that LaxNet group, you might have seen a little bit of a skirmish that happened just yesterday. And someone made a post that was relating to the women Black Breastfeeding Week and posted a picture of that iconic picture of the Black woman breastfeeding the white child. And the comments of the post, apparently I didn't actually see the comments, got a little out of hand and inappropriate. And I think it's really important for us to remember that social media is where we can share both fact and opinion, but we need to remember that it's a public forum. And you're putting out your opinion, and we hope that it's in a professional way, and especially when you're speaking as a representative of your field. And also remember that sometimes our words are taken in a way that's unexpectedly offensive or not the way we intended it. So we need to be ready to clarify and defend our positions or apologize and take it back. Move on after you apologize. But be ready to stand up for what you wrote and react to it how it gets taken. So really just be thoughtful and kind. Remember that there are people behind these pictures and words, and it's easy for us to feel like we're not speaking to someone directly, but maybe the best rule of thumb is to say if you would say this directly to someone's face, you probably don't want to say it on social media either. But just be ready to have a conversation, just like you would in person. That next principle is to preserve the confidentiality of claims. So we need to refrain from revealing any information acquired in the course of a professional relationship, except to another member of a client's healthcare team or person or entities for which the client has granted express permission. So this kind of comes into play when we're in those groups and we're talking about different clients and maybe trying to get ideas for their situation. We just have to remember that we always need to get permission. Those same rules apply to social media if you're going to be talking specifics. And also refrain from photographing with recording or taping mother or child for any purpose unless they've given express permission written. So remember, you can't just post a selfie with a mom unless she's already given that written permission. And the last principle, report accurately and completely to other members of the healthcare team. So we need to receive a client's consent before initiating a consultation to share clinical information with other members of the healthcare team. And social media is a good place for sharing ideas and giving general education, but it's not a good place for giving specific medical advice. If you're giving specifics that only apply to one woman's situation, then you're having a consult, which requires what is more than what social media can offer. You need to be taking that history and exam and communicating with the healthcare team. So direct messaging mothers if it's specific advice that can't be given to every mother, or if it's something that is more in-depth that requires a consultation, maybe the right move would be giving that mother the right questions to ask for a healthcare provider or her lactation consultant when you have that consultation in person. So just some tips. Remember that when you post, it's for the public to see. Be cautious about giving that specific medical info. Remember those hashtags. There are lots of similar hashtags or exactly the same hashtags within different social media platforms. But when you're searching, it's only going to search within that one platform. So just remember that, and don't be surprised if you don't get Twitters on Facebook. As we found, apps update often, but most of these concepts stay the same. Look for the words and the symbols that we talked about, and you should be able to navigate where you need to be. And if you're frustrated or you have a question, ask a millennial. We're apparently born with this knowledge. Or do what any good millennial will do and Google it. If you have that question, a lot of people will probably have before you. So in summary, social media is important to the millennial generation, and there are many ways to reach mothers through social media to gain knowledge and connect with colleagues. We have a responsibility to move with the times and ensure the best information is getting to the public, and right now that is through social media. So we have to ensure that our use of social media remains in line with current ethical guidelines. And we'll keep that through.
Okay, I have a stupid question.
I love stupid questions.
Well, because you talk about all these apps, which is great. And you didn't talk about the emojis that are out now.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, I've had this, I wanted to ask you for a couple months. Yeah, they have a baby bottle. They don't have a breast. And, you know, like I recently have a coworker that had a baby, so she's breastfeeding. She's a NICU nurse, and so, you know, you want to put something like, she's having some ups and downs with it, everything, you want to wish her good luck. And so you want to, you know, I put a bottle, and I said, just because there's not a boob, you know, to put it, so is are we ever going to break through that and allow a breast?
Yes.
That is a great question. I wish that I could say society is moving. It will if we all get into social media and have our say, I think is the answer. You know, when we normalize breastfeeding, that will no longer be a sexual thing that people are afraid to make an emoji for. So, yeah, I do think that that's an issue that we're still working through on social media, just like we are in other media forms. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Do you want to, just to review the facts those are available? We're gonna wrap it up right now.
Thank you, Diana, that was wonderful, we appreciate that information. All of us have been on our phones for the last 2 hours. Please.
Feel like teenagers?
They
just feel young.
To complete your evaluations as soon as possible, and forward your evaluations and attendance sheets to me at amy@firslactation.com, and we'll get you your certificate within 10 days. And with that being said, I'd like to wish everybody a good afternoon.
Thank you.
That's all.
And for everyone here, if you want, or your certificate today, please just give me your evaluation and I'll mark your name off my list. I am an active.
Oh, yeah. I almost did, but I found a clicker in my car. Thank you. Evaluation. We need a few of them.